Welcome to all. In the previous video, we have discussed about the potential function for the beams, and also we derived the stiffness matrix for the beams, and that is EI by L cube 12 6L minus 12 6L 6L 4L square minus 6L 2L square minus 12 6L 12 minus 6L 6L 2L square minus 6L 4L square. I think so you are all familiar with this. So I told how to remember. First you write these 4 terms and repeat the same, but here plus and minus will be there. Plus will be there. Here you write minus minus. And similarly, where is the 4? Where the 4 will come, you have to write the 2, and where 2 will come, you have to write 4. And see this this same thing you have to repeat on the right side, but in place of 4 you have to write here 2. And here the rows are here plus and here minus. Here you have to take a column, and this is 2 plus, and therefore you have to write minus. And same thing, this one you have to repeat here 12 6L 12 6L 6L 6L. In place of 2 you have to write 4. And here minus 12 become plus 12 and minus 6 as it is, and here plus 6L become here minus 6L. Like that you have to memorize. Now we are moving to the numerical problem today. So before going to the numerical problem, the steps involved in this numerical problems are same thing as it is like bar as well as a trusses. First thing, we need to write the FEM model. Then we need to derive the stiffness matrix for the each individual element. Then you have to find the global stiffness matrix by adding the individual stiffness matrix. Then you need to find the global nodal displacement as well as nodal force. And finally you have to substitute in the equilibrium equation, that is KQ is equal to F. Then finally we need to find the reaction, as well as in this we need to find the deflection, and suppose they ask bending moment and shear force also, you need to find it. So therefore here the nodal force vector as well as a displacement vector is a very important thing. So for here as I discussed in the beginning, in a beam there are different loads comes under the picture, like point load, UDL, UVL, couple, like that. So for those cases the nodal vector will going to be changes. So we'll discuss those first. What are the different cases, how the nodal vector will be there. So here we are not dealing with any derivation. We are directly write the final equation for the nodal vector for each different load cases. So first thing, suppose if the beam is subject to a point load as well as a couple, let's consider this beam, cantilever beam. It is one side is fixed, other side is free, and here at the end free support, they are subjected to a point load F, and also is shown the couple. Therefore the FEM model is like this. Here the nodal as we know, in a beam each node having 2 degrees of freedom. One is a vertical force as well as one is a movement. So here also F1 M1 F2 M2. So therefore we need to find the nodal force vector, that is here F1 M1 and F2 M2. So therefore F1 is here 0, M1 is 0, and F2 is nothing but F, and M2 is nothing but C. That is the case for this. So here alright, F1 is 0, M1 is 0, F2 is nothing but F, and M2 is nothing but, according to this example, so what is that? C. So when subjected to a point load, we need to consider F1 M1 F2 M2 and like so on, F3 M3, like that. And corresponding that point, what are the loads or couple is acting, we need to consider. If it is not acting, means we need to consider as 0. Similarly, when subjected to UDL, that is uniformly distributed load, that cases, what is the nodal force vector? So suppose the same cantilever beam taken, it is subject to UDL having W Newton per meter, kilonewton per meter. Now for that, this is the what we get the final equation, that is WL by 2, WL square by 2, WL by 2, and minus WL by 2. So here with respect to the L means that is length of the beam, on length of the UDL acting, not beam, on which how much span the UDL is acting, that L is called here. So therefore, so that is WL by 2, WL square by 12, and WL by 2, and minus WL square by 12. So this is what you have to memorize. And next case, last case, UVL. So that is UVL. There are two cases. Suppose if the maximum load is acting, maximum load is acting here and minimum load is 0 like this, then what is the nodal force vector become? That is WL by 60, 2L, 3L, 9 minus 2L. So here they taken common WL by 60 outside. Suppose if it is acting reverse, that means on the node 1 it is 0 and node 2 maximum load, that is W, is acting here. Then that case, what is the UV nodal force vector? That is WL by 6, 9, 2L, 9, 2L, 21 minus 3L. So keep this in mind. So this case, this is the nodal force vector, 21, 3L, 9 minus 2L into WL by 60, and when the load is acting on the left hand side is 0, other right hand side is maximum, then WL by 60, 9, 2L, 21 minus 3L. So this is have to be memorized thoroughly for the each different load conditions. So what is the nodal force vector equations? So here nodal displacement vector, we are not calling as Q. In all textbook they are used as delta. So here, as I told, displacement on each node, it is 2 degrees of freedom. That is, one is vertical displacement as well as one is slope movement. Therefore that is called as V1 theta 1, V2 theta 2. Suppose if you consider the 2 node, like 3 node, 4 node means V3 theta 3, V4 theta 4, like that, so on. How many number of nodes is there? Based on that it will increase. So this is the thing here to memorize. And one more very important thing, sign convention. As like in the MOM, how we are going to consider, here also sign convention is important. So here the movement in a clockwise, counterclockwise they consider as positive. That means counterclockwise direction it is positive and clockwise means negative. And forces are up positive in a upward direction and downward forces means become negative. And also theta, that is slope, is positive in counterclockwise direction. That means same movement as well as theta, it is same. Counterclockwise positive, clockwise are negative, and upward forces are positive and downward forces are negative. This is what you have to be memorized. And also for the shear force and bending moment, suppose you have to calculate the shear force and bending moment. For that we need to, suppose shear force 1 at node 1, bending moment at node 1, shear force at node 2 and bending moment at node 2. So that is equal to K into, that is global stiffness matrix into global, what is that, displacement vector, K into Q. If you do it, you will get the shear force and bending moment at that particular node. So this is what you have to memorize properly, this load condition vector, nodal force vector for each different load conditions as well as sign conventions. So now based on this we will move to the numerical problems. Okay, we will move to the numerical problems now. So here also in this beams we are taking 3 different types of beams, like cantilever beam, simply supported beam, and one more is a fixed beam, and with a different load condition. First we will take a first type beam, that is cantilever beam with a point load. So a cantilever beam is subjected to a point load of 250 kN as shown in figure. Determine the deflection at free end and support reactions. Take Young's modulus is 200 GPa and moment of inertia is 4 into 10 raised to 6 mm to the power of 4. So this is what the figure is given. This is simply a point load. Length of the beam is 0.8 meter and given the load is 250. So therefore we need to consider now, take the first write the data. So that is Young's modulus is 200 GPa, that is 200 into 10 raised to 3 Newton per mm square. In moment of inertia 4 into 10 raised to mm to the power of 4, and also load is given 250 kilo Newton. So here first we need to write FEA model as a first step. We need to find what we need to unknown. We need to find the deflection as well as the reactions. We need to find it. So here the load is given is 250 downward. As I told, upward force are considered as positive and downward are negative. So therefore here we are going to consider P as minus 250 Newton. Now first step is we write the FEA model. So we'll write the as like a it's a 1D model type. So one node 1 and node 2 element is 1. Now so here the vertical deflection is v1 and slope is theta 1, and here v2 theta 2. So according to this, here f2 is acting downward, that is 250 into 10 raised to 3 Newton, negative because of downward. Now we need to find the element stiffness matrix. We know only one element, therefore we know element stiffness matrix equation EI by L cube and this much. So now here L is nothing but how much? 0.8 into 10 raised to 3, that is 800 mm, and E is given, I is given. So therefore you substitute in those corresponding values, and carefully you have to be consider the negative also. Be careful when you are going to calculating this, and you have to simplify this. So then when you substitute, so you will get here 1.56 into 10 raised to 3 into 12, 6 into 800 become 4800, 12, 4800, 4800 and so on. So therefore, so here this is V1 correspond to the first node. So this is V1 theta 1, V2 theta 2. Similarly here V1 theta 1, V2 theta 2. So this is each node having 2 degree of freedom, V1 theta 1 and here negative theta 2. Now we need to find the global stiffness matrix. So here only it is one element, therefore we are K is nothing but K1 only. Next, global load vector. So global load vector F is here, so it is respect to the point load. So therefore here F, I told here F1 M1 will be there, F1 M1, and at node 2 F2 M2, F1 M1 F2 M2. Here at node 1 there is no load is acting vertically as well as couple, therefore F1 is 0, M1 is 0, but F2 is present, that is minus 250 into 10 raised to 3 Newton, and M2 is also 0. So that is what we written as 0, 0, minus 50 into 10 raised to 3, 0. Now global displacement vector. The global displacement vector is delta. Delta is nothing but V1 theta 1, V2 theta 2, because only we are having 2 nodes, therefore at each node we are having 2 degree of freedom. And now we need to find the equilibrium equation. So in right equilibrium equations are K into delta is equal to F. Here I told instead of Q we are writing as delta. So global stiffness matrix you substitute, and delta also we know this unknown, V1 theta 1, V2 theta you substitute, and global force vector value also you substitute. Now we need to apply the boundary conditions. So here same, but the boundary condition methods are two. One is penalty method as well as Gauss elimination method. So elimination approach method. So we are using here also elimination approach method. As you can see, at node 1 it is fixed, therefore we know the displacement, that is V1 is also 0 and theta 1 also 0. Corresponding displacement are V1 and theta both are 0. So therefore we need to eliminate first row, first column, theta 1, that is second row and second column, because these we know V1 theta 1 both are 0 because it is completely fixed. So therefore when you eliminate this, and what is the rest of things is left as it is, you write. Now V2 theta 2 only present, therefore we need to simplify this, solve this, then we will get vertical deflection at node 2 is minus 53.41 and theta 2 is minus 100.16 into 10 raised to 3 radian. So keep this in mind, theta it is in a angle, therefore that is unit is now here we are calculating in terms of radian. So vertical displacement in terms of mm, vertical displacement in terms of mm we are going to calculate. Okay, we find out the end deflection. Now next step is reaction, that is as usual R is equal to K into delta minus F. So reactions are as usual 4. Each node there are 2 reactions, R1, R2, R3, R4, and the global stiffness matrix you substitute that same thing, and delta now V1 is 0, theta 1 is 0, V2 we got as minus 53.4 and theta 2 is minus 100.16 into 10 raised to minus 3, minus node global force vector, that is 0, 0, minus 50 into 10 raised to 3 and it is 0. So on solving this, how to solve, hope you can familiar with that, is R1 is equal to this into first row into this column. So minus this. So as we know that here that is 1.56, this 12 into 0, 400 into 0, 12 into minus 53.41 and 400 into minus 100.16 into 10 raised to minus 3 whole into 1.56 into 10 raised to 3 minus 0. Like that you have to calculate. Then you will get R1 as minus 240.55 kilonewton and R2 is minus 587.47 10 raised to 6 Newton and R3 R4 are 0. Now if you add these two, you will get the applied load. So that is 250. Then your problem is right. So this complete the first problem.